The Subaru Forester. and I am up bright and early to go and meet the Topher out at Bundy Hill Off-Road Park in the new 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. We're going out there this morning to compare this to his Ranger Raptor, and you'll be able to see all of that off-road coverage over on the Topher channel, but I figured I would show my hour-long morning commute out to the off-road park and show you what it's like to drive, to commute, to live with this new Tacoma TRD Pro. So this is the top trim of the Tacoma. This one in front of me, about $65,000. Starts just under 64, so no matter what, you're in the 60s with a TRD Pro. But lots of cool, new, impressive technology with this thing that we'll get into as we walk around it. This is, of course, the iForce Max. When you go for the top trim Tacoma, you, of course, get the top engine. So that is the 2.4-liter turbocharged, hybridized 4-cylinder engine. Makes 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. So, same sort of powertrain that we saw in the Land Cruiser, some of the other top Toyota vehicles. And in the Land Cruiser, I kind of just said, well, this thing just kind of lugs around like a diesel. Same sort of story here in the Tacoma TRD Pro. This also has Fox shocks. It sits a lot higher than the other Tacomas. We have what's called isodynamic seats inside, which we'll show you once we get in, of course. But I just love the way that this looks in ice cap, this white exterior color. We've got black fender flares, which it's very strange. I've never seen this before. They're either painted or wrapped or something, but those are going to get mega pinstriped on the trails, and I don't think they're going to hold up as well as maybe a matte black plastic cladding piece. They do look quite proper, especially with the painted black roof on this thing, but I don't know. We'll have to see the longevity of those. Take a look at our TRD tuned Fox shocks up here in the front. We've got some pretty crazy approach angle with this, and no front air dam like we see on some of the lower trim Tacomas, of course. Today we're running on Goodyear Wrangler Territory RT tires, and just driving over here I have found that these are not great in the wet. They definitely have limited traction, but to give these a little bit of grace, this truck has 4,000 miles on it. It's been driven by other journalists and YouTubers and magazine outlets that we mentioned time and time again, so the tires have suffered a bit. We'll have to see how they do on the highway as far as noise and things go. We haven't gotten rain in a while, so it gives us an opportunity to do some rain testing today. Big TRD Pro script on the back. We have an ARB rear bumper. Very strong metal. I love ARB, and the Topher had an ARB bumper on his old 4Runner, some of you may remember, but I think it really looks the part back here on this TRD Pro. Power tailgate, of course. If you're paying 65 grand for a truck, you would expect nothing less. We have this bed mat back here, but also kind of a drop-in plastic bed liner. And being that this is the TRD Pro with the iForce Max, we have an extra little wall outlet, and then over here on the left, you open this door and you've got some USB-C ports and a 12-volt. And a little cubby there to store a phone or something if you're camping and you need to charge your phone or plug in a speaker or whatever you want to do. You can do that over on the left side. Cool to see. Got buttons on both taillights to close that tailgate. We also have a unique TRD exhaust on this TRD Pro, of course. And being now that this is a 4-cylinder, we'll have to see if this exhaust drones on the highway or not, because the old V6 in the old Tacoma was a bit noisy and drony once you got above 60, 70 miles an hour. Isodynamic seats. Now these were essentially engineered so your body moves less when you're off-roading, which, kind of, like how chickens, when they move around, their head is kind of like on a gimbal, and the chicken's head always stays put. There were some there's turkeys over there. We could probably ask them about that. But anyways, kind of the same story with this seat. It's to keep you concentrated while you're on the trails. And the way they do that is with a number of different shocks in the back of the seats, which you can actually adjust pressures and all sorts of things on this. But these shocks move side to side. There's ones on the bottom that move up and down, and then there's also shocks that move in and out like this on the seat. So properly detailed and specific engineering gone into this. Lots of development, and I'm excited, honestly, to see how these perform just on the highway and in normal driving settings. Of course, we'll observe them on the trails later. Again, you'll see that on the Topher, but Well, another thing they do is take up a lot of room. I mean, you can see just visually before I even get in here at 5'11", I don't know that I'm going to fit because there's about that much leg room behind the driver's seat. So something to consider if you're going for a TRD Pro and you plan on using the back seat. It may not really work out. Yeah, I don't really want to put my foot on the seat. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So, I fit, but not happily or comfortably. I would kind of have to sit with my legs spread like this because my knees actually don't fit in these little gaps. So, very cool seats, but also very massive. So, just something to consider. Let's pop the hood really quickly as I contort myself to get back out of the back seat. Look at that, additional cup holders in the door panels as well. Also, oh my goodness, this is the first Tacoma I've driven that's not a prototype, which means we have normal door panels in this. Obviously, this is nothing new to owners that have had their own Tacomas for the last 6 months or whatever, but every single one of these I've driven has had like solid black plastic door panels and A-pillar covers. We finally have a production spec Tacoma, so it's been cool to see a finished one of these. The fake hood scoop on this is a little bit gaudy, and I actually thought it was real until yesterday I popped the hood, and you see that it is very much not real. And also for your $65,000, you don't get hood struts. So that's a bit disappointing as well. The only real difference under the hood is this TRD intake, a bit more open, a bit more flowy, which means you hear more turbo noises. You really only hear them at low speeds, first, second gear, but, you know, any turbo noise is a good turbo noise. If you opt for the Trail Hunter that has the snorkel thing, you can really hear the turbo noise. I actually haven't driven a Trail Hunter yet, but I've seen videos, and my buddy Keone, who dabbles with Motor Trend, has driven one, and he says it is quite the experience. All right, it must be fully daytime now because the street lights have shut off. Let's shut the hood. Let's jump back into this Tacoma TRD Pro, and we'll hit the road. We still have the TRD light bar on this. I'll show you that here in a second. The fall colors are still here, but I think by next week they're all going to be gone, so we'll enjoy those while we have them. Here's the front of those isodynamic seats. Got a little bit of hard plastic up there at the top, but it's in the seat enough to where you don't really notice it. And I think the seats themselves look excellent. We have that kind of camo ghosted in here under the perforations, like we saw in the Tundra TRD Pro. And I love that they offer them in red. I love red interior. The only weird thing about these is they don't have a power backrest. I imagine that has something to do with the mechanisms of the shocks and everything. They may not have been able to fit a power mechanism for the backrest, but power back and forth. We have power lumbar, which goes up and down on the seat as well. That's nice to see. But the backrest is operated with this lever here. I love the unique TRD power button that you get in these trucks, especially since they're a Toyota hybrid. They're sticking to their roots there with that power button. All right. TRD light bar is active. Let's show you what that looks like. Yes. The best part about this is when somebody flashes their brights at you and they think your brights are on, you can then blind them with the TRD light bar. It does sit a bit high off the ground, and as a driver, you don't get a handle. You've got nothing right here either. As a passenger, you've actually got two handles, one on the A-pillar and then one above the passenger seat. Thank you for the Jake brake. So, wow, what a racket. Okay, let's jump in the truck. Rear view mirror. Big Toyota script on the dashboard in true TRD Pro fashion. Take a little look at our Monroney here. $65,869, rated at 24 mpg on the highway. I'm going to reset this trip so we can keep track of what we actually do. Only a couple options on this: mud guards, bed mat, ball mount, mini tie down, tailgate insert in black, which I actually like because it means you can read the script back there. $1,495 destination, but let's go ahead and jump on the road and see what this thing is like. I've already got my heated steering wheel going, my heated seat going, taking advantage of all of the heated elements here in this truck. Okay. Into reverse, you can see our very nice 360 camera. And this is a true hybrid system. This is not just a 48 volt mild hybrid. This will actually run in electric mode up to, I got it to do it up to 10 miles an hour. Yeah, we're still in full electric mode. There you go, 12 miles an hour. But I like that about this. I think sometimes the quietness is nice. Good morning, folks. There's an interior rattle in here. I can't tell if it's the sunroof, because I would like to keep that open for some lighting. It's very gray today. You know, the light we can get. We are jumping right on the highway today. No time for a performance loop, but that's okay. I really just want to see what this is like to daily drive. That is what I am genuinely curious about. The comfort of the seat on the highway and just normal stuff, because obviously not everybody is buying a TRD Pro to strictly go off-road. People are buying this to drive to the office, which is kind of hilarious to think about, but I mean, that's just the reality. Office during the week, off-road park on the weekends. This should be able to do it all. Saw these video Wranglers struggling for traction as I pulled out of the complex back there. It does seem to be kind of just the way that a lot of these all-terrain tires drive. I've seen some good examples, some good offerings from Bridgestone that have good wet traction, or Firestone rather. I suppose it's the same thing. And we're actually only going to spend a few miles here on the 70 mile an hour highway in favor of a 55 mile an hour highway, so we'll be able to see kind of how that affects our fuel economy. Of course, this gauge cluster is fully customizable. I have all kinds of different settings for what you want to see on here. I like the white-ish face gauges with the red details to complement our TRD Pro stuff in here. Big physical climate controls. Everything in these Toyota trucks, the Tacoma and the Tundra, everything's very big and blocky. So if you've got gloves on, you're at the off-road park, you can still operate your big temperature dials in here, the big shifter. The steering wheel's a nice thickness. 12 o'clock in red, of course. Seems like here at highway speeds, 75 miles an hour, we were actually pepped under 2,000 RPM. This has an 8-speed automatic.
Braking ahead.
Thank you. Who said that? It does not have full-time four-wheel drive. We're currently in two-wheel drive high. You can switch that here with this little dial, as well as your drive modes, your multi-terrain select, and crawl control, all operated with the dial next to the shifter. The road and wind intrusion is not too bad. It's actually quieter than I thought it was going to be. This is my first time driving this on the highway. Admittedly, I've only had this thing for like 16 hours, not even a full day yet. So still learning it a bit. We had a weird swap schedule this week. Usually I would have been in this for about 4 days at this point, but the car we were supposed to get ended up not working out, so this came in its place, which I'm actually really excited. I've been wanting to drive this TRD Pro Tacoma for a while. I think Toyota does these hybrid brake pedals better than almost anyone. They've had so long to dial this technology in that at this point, the Honda you may need when a GMC AT4 doesn't use his signal to cut over. We will use our signal as a dignified member of society. There's another truck not using the signal to get over. It's a bit early, we'll give them that. still haven't taken enough sips of their coffee yet. Off into electric mode for a second. And these screens are really bright, and I don't think we have a physical control to dim them. I have to go into the infotainment. I think that was our rattle, the sunroof shade. And of course, still normal truck body on frame architecture here with this. But these Fox shocks do a really good job soaking everything up. You've got a bit of bounciness going on, but overall it's pretty soft. I mean, you can only really make a truck ride so well. This isodynamic seat doesn't seem to be incredibly noticeable when you're just kind of going over potholes and minor road imperfections. But, I mean, you get 1.5 inches of travel with this seat, so think about like a semi-truck seat, how much that moves around. I mean, I don't think this has quite as much travel, but 1.5 inches is pretty dynamic for a seat in a normal pedestrian car like this. So when you're out on the trail, keeps you in place. This is going to sound like sacrilege, but I think I prefer the sound of this 2.4 turbo over the old V6. Do a little bit of a sound clip up here. This morning already kind of seems like a free-for-all, so we'll just wrap up the light. I don't really care. Soft limiter around 3,000 RPM. But kind of a muscular noise for a 4-cylinder. It doesn't really have to rev too high with that 465 pound-feet of torque, so you really don't hear this engine all that much. But when you do hear it, it's not offensive. Well, why don't we get a song queued up while we're just sitting here in this traffic? We can test out this JBL sound system, I think for the first time, actually, because since all of the trucks I've driven prior to this have been prototypes, I've never been able to listen to the finished version of this JBL. I also haven't seen these A-pillar trim pieces with the proper JBL speaker covers here. So if they look nice, let's get a song queued up and we'll see what it's got. These mid-sized trucks. JBL, I honestly, since this is a newly tuned system, a newly implemented system, it does sound pretty good. The JBLs were getting a bit stale in Toyotas, so I've been enjoying listening to some of the newest renditions. Give these cars a little distance. I kind of want to test kickdown here on this 8-speed. Nice. Spoiling the fuel economy slightly there, but important research was needed. It's funny, in situations like this, through construction and like uneven road surfaces in Michigan, we see it all the time. It's nice to be in a vehicle like this because you just simply don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about smashing a wheel or a tire or anything when you're driving around a car like this on the street. I know it's very much overkill, but sometimes overkill is nice for peace of mind. They've also dialed in this driving position really well. I'm comfortable with both arms. The seat, the isodynamic seat, is comfortable so far just to sit in, and even with the seat all the way down, I can still see over this hood, even with it being kind of bulged and unique here for the TRD. Yeah, I am comfortable. You can set yourself up really nice. You can kind of rest your hand here on the shifter. The center console is plenty squishy. You have a little bit less cushion on the door panel, but my elbows are comfy for the most part, and I can see out of this thing just fine. I mean, visibility's good. We've got a camera rearview mirror like I showed you earlier, but even when it's not on the camera, the headrests block you a bit, but you're able to fold those down flat, and you're use the camera. But the camera's there, why not take advantage of it? One thing I would like to see on this TRD Pro would be paddle shifters. Being that this is kind of the Raptor competitor for Toyota, it would be cool to see some more kind of performance-y driving things in here. You can, of course, shift this 8-speed manually down here on the floor with the shifter. But, I don't know. I would like to see paddle shifters, maybe some cool paddle shifters that stick up far, give it a sportier look in here. It's so interesting to me that Ford is the only company that adds power to their top trim performance version truck. Chevy doesn't do it, GMC doesn't do it, Toyota doesn't do it, Nissan doesn't make one. But the Raptor is the only one that gets a power boost over all of the other trucks. Obviously we have numerous suspension upgrades, other technology upgrades here in the TRD Pro, and you would get that in the ZR2 as well, or whatever Chevy calls theirs. But why are we not bumping power levels to compete with the Raptor? I don't know, it's a bit strange. I always wonder that. I would imagine it's self-preservation-y, kind of wanting these trucks to last, and also since the powertrain isn't bespoke, it may give some more kind of reliability, peace of mind. I don't know, that's the only kind of way I can justify it in my mind. I'm actually going to turn this heated seat down a bit. It is cooking me. Beautifully smooth shifts from this 8-speed automatic. You don't even notice it. Most of the powertrain does kind of exist in the background with this. Alrighty guys, well, I'm not going to keep you waiting for the next 47 minutes of my long commute this morning, but I'll probably take the camera off here for a little bit, and we'll update you a bit later on with what it's been like to sit in this for an hour. I mean, some people do commute an hour every single day for their job, so if this was you, how would the TRD Pro fare? Well, thanks to the beauty of the edit, I'll see you in like 1 second, and I'll let you know how it's been. Checking in here just for a second for a couple of reasons. One, to show off these really nice fall colors, and also to tell you about where we're at. So we're currently in Irish Hills, and back in the day when I was a young kid, and really before I even existed, there were a lot of like theme parks and things out here. So there's one up here, right here on the left, Stagecoach Stop, and this was kind of like a Wild West themed park. Looks like now they're using it for like a Halloween type thing. And then there's one up here that was called Prehistoric Forest, which was like a park you'd walk around and there were like big dinosaurs that were in the woods. But this was like, Irish Hills was like a very successful sort of like poppin' area at the time. Here we go, Prehistoric Forest. There are actually a bunch of cars there, so I wonder if maybe it's under new ownership. Yeah, Prehistoric Forest Amusement Park. So back in these woods, there were a bunch of these big, like, foam, I don't know what they were made out of, huge dinosaurs. And then around 10, 15, 20 years ago, all the parks shut, they were abandoned, and then, you know, people went back there and explored and everything. But it's just kind of a cool area. There's just, like, stuff like this out here. Golf course. It's a cool area. It's giving me a chance to kind of take some corners too in the Tacoma. These tires are just on the edge of grip at about 55 miles an hour going around some of these corners out here in the damp. Definitely not the best performance from the wet with these. But other updates for you include my satisfaction with this driver's seat, and not even necessarily the isodynamic aspect of it, but the range of lumbar adjustment is excellent. I mean, this goes out so far, I don't even have it pushed out all the way, but my back was starting to bother me just a bit. I've been doing some like more upper body workouts lately, and just to try and build somewhat of a strength for myself. I'm so weak and skinny, I've been trying to do that. Anyways, for that reason, I've been a little bit sore in kind of all departments, so my back has been suffering. But the seat, with its lumbar adjustment, has helped me there. Stick my...
怕还能够遇见你，反复等待着踏雪的神沟。 不愿命捉弄，只愿自己情海中，怎能频频回首，已经远离的背后，期盼还能够遇见你，仿佛等待着飘雪的神兜，期盼还能够遇见你，仿佛等待着飘雪的神兜。 期盼爱。